This is the Beyond the Dojo podcast. I'm Lauren.
I'm Jeremiah.
You know, I used to train, I guess you'd be considered one of my kohai. Like, if they're a lower ranking student than you are, is they considered a kohai?
No, kohai is like the group of people like you grew up with in karate.
Right. So if I'm her senpai.
So I guess kohai is the same generation.
Okay.
And then senpai would be the generations before.
Okay.
And then sensei obviously is.
So whatever she was, lower rank, plebeian. She was actually she's about my mom's age, and she did karate for years and years. And there was a point where I was actually going to her house to teach her for a number of reasons. And she ultimately quit karate because she had been moving some furniture and she dropped the furniture on her shin and got a hairline fracture in her shin. And then on a Q exam, one of the guys blocked too hard and re-damaged the fracture in her shin. And so she could no longer run and she could no longer train karate. So today, when we were moving furniture outside...
Oh, jeez!
Jeremiah and I somehow managed to miss the fact that the furniture we were moving was going to slip, and it fell on my shin. But I did not break my leg. I'm good. But all I could just see my karate life flashing before my eyes as it was like 100-year-old sewing machine that folds into the furniture thingy. It was very top heavy.
Honest shame. I felt so damn bad about doing that. I felt guilty. I was like, man, I should have been there. I should have been holding it different, this and that. I looked at her shin. It didn't look bad. And then she pulls this crap and acts like I'm trying to ruin her karate life.
I did not.
No, how manipulative can you be?
I thought it was a great piece of content myself.
Oh my gosh.
My shin is fine. It looks ugly. But what I was actually thinking is, like, I'm pretty sure I had worse gashes in my shins from when I used to mountain bike with my friends in high school.
The pedal.
Oh, dude, those pedals were... I had to get the clip-ons, but I was afraid of them because my balance was really bad. So when you go up over hills...
It's still bad.
Well, on a bike, it's worse, okay? My balance is actually pretty good. Like, I can hold the baby and stand on one leg and do kicks and all that kind of stuff. Like, we're doing an intro class the other day.
What?
And I had the autistic kid
you
was
can't
looking
say
at
you have
me
good balance because of that. I hold a baby every day and do karate all day long.
Listen,
what the hell are you talking
do
about?
not hold a baby.
Yes, it's the same thing.
It's totally not
the same thing.
It's not the same. Me being pregnant and training is not the same as me wrapping the baby around me. Like, it's so much more external and she can move around and stuff. Anyway, I have good balance, but mountain biking, not for me. I enjoyed it, but the clipping in thing, like, always scared me. Like, I was afraid I was just going to fall with the bike. Like, I was not going to be able to get off. I was just going to go to the ground, and it did happen. Good balance. Anyway, my shins are fine. They weren't back then, though. It was awful.
Let's make this about you.
I know, it's fine. I mean, then think up something funny to say at the beginning of our podcast, and I won't throw you under the bus.
Oh, my goodness.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Well, happy Valentine's Day, and today's going to be a little touchy.
Today's going to be all about, not about love. We figured in honor of Valentine's Day, we should talk about inappropriate relationships in the dojo.
Oh, yeah.
You know? That tracks.
Whatever, you know.
Yeah, you know. I don't even know where to start with this. I've been thinking about this all day long. I'm like, where do we even begin this conversation? Because this is going to be a giant circle. Also, if you have kids listening to this, they probably shouldn't.
They should.
You should just turn this off and have this conversation with them separately after you listen to the podcast. Because
let's start innocent. One of the worst.
What part of this is innocent? Okay,
well, kind of like one of the worst things you can see in a dojo is when, like, you have these kids growing up in the dojo, and then they become a couple.
Oh.
And then it's like, I don't want to see that.
Why?
And that and like, I've seen it where
why would you not want to see that? Why does that matter?
Because when the relationship ends, it's going to end. Like, one of them are leaving, or both of them are leaving, and it's like.
But anytime you do like an extracurricular type of thing, whether it's karate or some other sport or church or whatever, like, that always happens. One of them ends up leaving.
Yeah,
but we've never had that happen.
Well, we know, but I know it's going to happen.
Eventually we'll be matchmakers.
It's slim pickings too now.
This is true.
Like, most kids leave because the karate's not cool anymore. Now we got to worry about things like that.
I think we got I don't know. We don't have like quite big enough of a pool of people.
Yeah,
like
no, that's the
a
thing.
lot of them already know each other coming into it, so it's like, meh. Like the beginners class, all those kids already knew each other before they came in.
But you can see like some of those boys in the beginners class are a little they get a little awkward
around some of the girls.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, dude. It's like, come on.
But those are not inappropriate relationships.
Those are not.
They're appropriate.
They're age appropriate.
They're age appropriate. Yeah. Let's see. Where do we start with this topic?
We'll just talk about what everybody knows. Some senseis will take advantage of their position and influence.
Yeah.
And there will be a relationship. Yeah.
We've
talked
with
students.
Right.
Which there's nothing wrong with having a relationship. But I think like the teacher student relationship thing is a negative thing. It can be really you're walking a weird line, I think, when you do that, because it kind of goes back to like someone leaving the dojo. I mean, what happens if your relationship with your student ends? They probably leave the dojo and then right. There's this whole like if it's bad, like something bad happens in their relationship and they spread rumors about you or something. Yeah, it's a person in position of power.
Mm-hmm.
That could be taken and like they abused their power in a sense. Their sense of influence.
It could be, and I think that's part of why. Like that was my background, like not background, but my background knowledge of sensei student relationships in the past. So like we've had people who've misunderstood and thought that I was Jeremiah's student.
Yeah,
it was very offensive to me. Not because I wouldn't be willing to learn from Jeremiah, but because that was my understanding. Like
she wouldn't be willing to learn from Jeremiah. Trust me. Yeah,
the other way around.
What?
Jeremiah wouldn't listen to a word I said.
Please comment if you know differently.
Psh. I think it's pretty even.
I think our dojo. Our community would support me in this one.
No, I don't think so. But for real though, like that was my knowledge of some of these relationships is like, it was usually like a sensei, and it was, I mean, as a woman, it's kind of...
The problem thing is too, is like, even if that student is worthy of upgrading forward, like getting the grades they earned, everybody's going to look at them and be like...
They're always going to think...
They're always going to think, because they're together.
Oh, it's because they're dating the sensei. That's why they went up in rank.
I mean, I feel bad for that person because if they legitimately earn it, then they do, but like, there's also been instances where it's like, obviously, you shouldn't be graded up to where you're at. It's
actually really funny because I didn't think about talking about this, and I'm not going to name names, but we know a very famous sensei who is dating a Dan ranking student from his own dojo. And they kind of travel together now. And when he's teaching, he's got like googly eyes at her, like, oh my God. He's like, gets real soft or whatever. He's like giving her corrections and stuff. But she's obviously has not been ranked because of them having a relationship. She was already a high-ranking student before that ever happened. It's funny to me is just watching him like melt whenever he's trying to teach her. They're early in their relationship, so it's fine.
Yeah. Hey, everybody's human, right?
Yeah.
They got the right, but it's the same. I agree. It is kind of when you know the teacher and you only get exposed to that part, or like a different part of their persona, and then you see like a whole other like part of their persona.
Like they can't even formulate a sentence.
Yeah, and you're just like,
bro, do you want me to make corrections for you? Because I can do that.
Yeah, you're surprised because you're like, oh man, this guy's human.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, wow. So.
Yeah. Well, and then we have another famous sensei friend who, actually the reason that I wrote this idea down a couple of years ago is because of some things that this person went through where it was like, it was very, very complicated and I can't share too much, but basically... A female
boundaries were crossed
probably on both sides. I'm not really sure, but he was actually the victim in this case versus, in some cases it's the other way around. And this female student was, I guess, trying to be in a relationship with him, and he wasn't open to the relationship, but he, maybe wasn't as vocal about it as he should have been.
Right.
And it was really ugly. The aftermath.
Yeah. But you could tell because of the aftermath, you could tell like who the psychopath was. Like
sociopath is actually the more technically correct word. Yeah. I'm only saying that because the person is totally.
And she says I'm not willing to learn from her, but I get corrected in my English all the time, no. And I go, "Yeah, you're right, sociopath."
I'm only saying
because I do that in my nature. I don't learn from her.
No, I'm only saying that because, by definition, this person's actions were like sociopathic.
Yeah,
like it's like seriously concerning for his safety.
Yeah, and to me that like it was just watching it unravel in front of our eyes. Mm-hmm. And just seeing the manipulation on, like, the different levels of manipulation, I just thought, oh my God.
The manipulation, the fact that she sexually assaulted him, and, like, how does a man come out and say?
Yeah, like, there's a lot of things to it, right?
Right.
And it's
it's hard to have these conversations because, you can't really share specifics, but it's just...
Yeah, if any of the people we're talking about, or if we're not trying to be rude or poke like fun at it. It's just one of those things that happen, and I feel like it happens more than not. I feel like it's
not talked about.
Yeah, it's just not talked about, and it's it's a shame because like everybody assumes it's male to female aggression.
Yeah.
Everybody assumes it that way,
and they're gonna believe.
But they're gonna believe that. But I've seen it where it's like the female's the aggressor. Not all of them are sociopaths. Not all of them cross boundaries.
Right.
But you could you go to certain seminars and you can just watch it like unfold in front of your eyes. Like, oh my God.
Oh yeah.
All she has to do is twirl her hair and giggle a little bit more, and it's more obvious than that.
Oh, dude.
It's really just.
We watched. Now, this was my perception of what happened, so this may not be, reality. But what appeared to happen was there was a woman who was infatuated with a pretty high level instructor a few years ago. She followed him like around the country.
Yeah.
He was teaching in different places, and I'm so not kidding. Everywhere he was, she went. This is actually more than one person that this happened to, now that I'm thinking about it. But she like followed him around the country, and it was like, what is going on? And it makes it look like it's him, and it might not have been him. It might have been her just chasing him around everywhere.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is like, it's not always what it seems, and we'll never know the whole truth because we weren't there.
And like how much of the onus is on, in this case, those sensei for cutting it off and being like, hey, there's something inappropriate or unprofessional going on here with the way you feel, and it's not going to happen.
Right. Morally, it's on the sensei to do that, right?
I would think so.
Right. But then you have to consider this. The level of manipulation and the threats of like ruining their careers, tarnishing their name, and it's like completely ruining them, even if it's all lies and fabricated.
Right.
Go
ahead and finish your sentence and we'll take a break for the
It is, it's hard. It's hard, especially for someone who's worked so hard to get to the level they're at, to finally get some exposure to spread what they believe is, their karate and how they see it. And for the woman to just be like, I could ruin you. And they, in reality is they can't.
Right.
Because of the misbelief, right?
Right.
It's a tricky road.
Yeah. Let's pause here. So sometimes it's the other way around, where the sensei is the perpetrator. And it's very much like...
Well, so much so that there's actually a channel on YouTube, the McDojo.
Yeah.
Where that's all he does is report on
Well, it's not all he does, but it's a lot of what he does, which is crazy that his brand has kind of evolved to that I don't know, thing, because originally he was just calling out crappy martial art teaching, and now it's something totally other, where these
the reason why it's transitioned is that he's in business now, that where they do background checks on any potential hires for dojos.
Yeah.
They offer it as a service. They do all the background checks and everything to make sure that none of the potential hires are
which is a great idea if you are, in that position to hire somebody.
Yeah.
For God's sake, do a background check.
Exactly.
And also, if you're this is just throwing out practical advice. If you're a parent and your kid, it does not matter who it is. If you're leaving your kid with an adult instructor, please make sure another adult is there and it's not just them. Because these stories come out of these kids being assaulted by different martial arts instructors across all different types of martial arts. It's awful. And it's I'm not blaming the parents, okay? I'm not blaming them. But many of these types of things can be prevented by there just being someone there. And if the instructor says you're not allowed to watch class, to me that's a red flag.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, we've encountered like dance instructors who aren't comfortable with the parents watching, and I know that they're like afraid of parents coaching from the sidelines, but dude, it is a major safety and well-being issue. And like,
we handle that right in the front. We tell them on the intro class, no coaching from the sidelines, none of this. You have to respect what we're doing.
But we also, like, especially the first couple of weeks of class, for sure, we want the parents there. 4 and 5-year-olds, you're not allowed to leave. Like, we want you to be in the building in case something goes wrong. But it's also a safety thing for the instructor. Like, you want to have eyes on the class in case there's ever an accusation of anything that is unfounded. You need to have
uninvolved third party.
And that's what happened with one of our friend who was accused of a whole bunch of stuff by this female. There were witnesses, multiple witnesses at different events, different locations. We were witnesses to some of it. So like we were able to see what was going on. These are between two adults, but they're not being a witness is a big he said, she said thing.
Yeah. And it's a shame, right? Because even, but let's go look at the opposite way, right? Where the sensei is the aggressor, the male compared to female. And one of the threats is no one will believe you.
Also, it's not just female. Look at Andy Sherry.
Yeah.
So don't think that because you have a boy leaving it with a male, that it's safe.
Yeah.
That is sickening to even say. Yeah. But, I mean, I don't remember how many people were in that case.
Yeah.
But, I get that.
That wrecks me, dude. That,
yeah.
You want to talk about abuse of authority?
Oh my God, I know.
And like, national team coach, has all these accolades, has all this history, has all these awards and everything, and then he turns around and he's a predator. It's just like,
and I don't even know the guy. I've never trained with him, but the amount of times growing up that I heard my senseis refer to him,
because he was the man in the in Britain and UK. He was the guy. He's the guy that coached all the good ones. Mm-hmm. He got Frank Brennan. He taught Ronnie. God, I forgot his last name.
Bunch of dudes.
He was the UK national team coach forever.
Right. I
mean, he coached that team in 81, 82 when they beat the Japanese.
Oh yeah,
that was unheard of back then.
Right.
And they dominated. They were that dominant,
Right. It doesn't mean he wasn't a good teacher.
Well, it doesn't, but it does mean,
lose a lot of credibility when you start.
Man, it's just, it breaks my heart. Mm-hmm. Because nowadays you can't trust anybody.
It was crazy to me that when that story came out, the first thing that popped into my mind, a few podcasts ago, we talked about our friend Peter who just passed away. Yeah. Peter told us when he was here that it was widely known that he had a relationship with an underage, I'm not going to say his name, he had a relationship with an underage young man, and they eventually continued a relationship with each other. He said it was known in that area when he was there that they were in a relationship with each other.
Back in the 70s.
And no one said a word.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. He had already crossed that line back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And, you know.
I think it was 80s and 90s.
No, trust me. The individual he's talking about.
Well, I just mean that his actions continued.
Yeah, his actions continued.
Some of the people were my age.
Well, his actions continued while he was still involved with that man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So they were living as a couple.
It went all the way into the 2000s.
And then he continued to continued to be a predator.
Yeah. One of the guys that came out against him is my age. And so if he was 12, 13, 14 years old, dude, that was like early 2000s.
Yeah, dude.
That's disgusting. That was a long time.
It's a shame. It's a real shame because it harms the whole, well, the image of karate, the image of like, we teach to be righteous and to have these standards and to hold yourself accountable. Mm-hmm. And then you have people in position that just like says whatever. And there's, levels and levels of manipulation there, obviously.
Right.
So.
And
it's a damn shame.
It doesn't always get to that degree. And not everyone has those types of ideas or intentions in their head. But I think it's safe to say that there's at least a generation or two of karate instruction in particular. So I can only speak on karate instruction because I'm not sure about other martial arts styles, where it's almost like that, like, not questioning authority turned into that.
Yeah.
Like borderline abuse-ish kind of stuff.
Yeah, the teacher, the dojo sensei walked on water.
Like, wasn't to be questioned. And like, I'm not sure, I only trained in one dojo, but my experience growing up was there were multiple versions of that. Like, one instructor would be, or a couple of instructors would be like overly aggressive in their speech and would kind of berate people. And then like another instructor, there was a point, I was like 12 or 13 years old. He lacked personal boundaries to such a degree that I seriously almost quit karate when I was like 13 years old. I remember being in class on a Saturday and I was like by myself, and my parents, they didn't know any better. Like, you didn't see this kind of stuff in the news all the time back then. And he didn't know how to make corrections without putting his hands on me. And I was so uncomfortable. And I didn't know how to say anything about it. I didn't know how to tell my parents. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to tell him to back off because I was just a kid. But I made the decision that day. I will never forget. I was like, if he does this again next week, I'm quitting.
Yeah.
And luckily he didn't. It's not that he wasn't still handsy. And I'm not saying he like touched me inappropriately, but touching at all was inappropriate. That's the point that I'm making.
Yeah.
I was so uncomfortable with just the physical contact, and I didn't have anybody to tell.
Yeah.
I had no one else in the dojo who probably would have even thought it was an issue. And like those kinds of situations where it's like this small boundary is crossed and it gets pushed and pushed and pushed, I think that's where a lot of that begins. And you guys had a similar issue with the same person at your dojo.
Yeah.
Just like it's almost like their brains, in his case, I don't think he was intentionally trying to cause harm, but it's like he just didn't realize there was a boundary there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
and it's funny because like people, like when we start talking about boundaries with the new parents and everything, they act like, why are you so extreme about it? It's not that big of a deal,
Dude,
and it's like, no, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a real big deal. Even like, today I still like, if I'm going to rotate someone's hips or anything, I'm like, hey, I'm going to grab your belt. I'm going to do this. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And we encourage them to say no if they don't feel comfortable. She's like, no, because I'm not allowed to tell them. I tell them all the time, I'm just going to grab a stick and poke you with the stick then.
Right.
Because I would rather you get the correction than me do it the way I want to.
And even as a small female to males and females, I will do the same thing. Like, hey, especially early on. Yeah. Hey, can I move your arm? Like we had a new kid the other day, and I was like, hey, is it okay if I put your arm in a certain position? He's like, yeah, of course. But you just grabbing people and moving them around, like at some point somebody thought that was okay,
right?
And it just isn't, because it can open doors to areas you don't want to go.
Right. Well, you got to think about that generation of instructors, right? Came over in the 60s, was popular in the 70s, got real popular in the 80s. Mm-hmm. Kids were more introduced in the 80s, right? Mm-hmm. But you had almost 2 decades where it was like Japanese teach hands-on. It's really hands-on, but trust me.
Well, I just don't see it the same.
Here's the thing, though. Mm-hmm. It's in society, it's established. There's boundaries there.
Right.
It's very clear that it's not. I'm not doing weird things to you. I'm mm-hmm. very deliberate about it, right. And it's just so ingrained in society mm-hmm. that it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But then you come over to the States, and there's a whole different like structure and culture and society, acceptable society, social actions that conflict, right? Mm-hmm. And then they have this whole attitude that you don't question those. Like everybody says, oh, you don't question the sensei. No, you don't question the sensei in front of class. It's a whole different thing. Like Japanese, if they don't understand, they talk to them one-on-one mm-hmm. outside the classroom setting to have a better understanding. Mm-hmm. If you ask in the middle of class when they're teaching mm-hmm. or they're running the class, it's a whole different thing. Mm-hmm. You have to be tactical about certain things because that's just the way the culture is. That's how it's established. So, again, on a rabbit trail.
Yeah, I'm thinking about I think there was such a, at least in the karate culture that I grew up in, there was such this ultimate submissal to authority.
Yeah.
That I don't know that I could have had, at least not at that time, I could not have had that conversation with anyone. Yeah, no one would have taken that seriously. And no one would have.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think they would have had any respect for it.
That was the point I was trying to get to in a roundabout way. It was mm-hmm. When it came over to Western society, I think they misunderstood mm-hmm. what was being, they're misunderstood, misled. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Right. But I think they misunderstood they didn't teach the subtleties of the culture. And so, or they couldn't, right? I mean, language barrier, the attitude of the type of students, all that. Mm-hmm.
Almost like maybe there was a misunderstanding of how you go about tactfully not questioning authority in the sense that but just asking questions.
Yeah, it's how you ask the question.
Versus blindly following.
Yeah.
Turned into some kind of weird sense of control and manipulation. And I'm not even sure how exactly that translated, but I'm just telling you that the dojo I came up in sometimes was like that.
It's because it's scary to me. In Japan, it wasn't like that. Mm-hmm. It was not like that. And we had military guys teaching us, Japanese Jetai, that they were teaching us karate, and mm-hmm. they're hardcore, mm-hmm. Authoritarians, mm-hmm. right? So but it wasn't that way. It was just how you did. If you had a question, you always just waited to ask them one-on-one. You never really asked them. My experience was you didn't ask in middle class. You didn't stop what was going on to bring the focus to you. Mm-hmm. You waited for the opportunity to ask them when it was appropriate.
Sure.
So, but that whole going back to it, the 70s and 80s was really ego-driven too. Mm-hmm. It was really ego-driven and very toxic masculinity. That was toxic masculinity.
Yeah, I'm just thinking I think even these guys, the guys that were mm-hmm. leading in our dojo, they were from that time period. Mm-hmm. It was in the States, and gosh, I think if I had said anything about how uncomfortable I felt, they would have been so offended.
Yeah.
So offended.
Yeah.
Even though it's not them, it wasn't about them, it was about me. I do not feel comfortable with this level of contact from an instructor as a 13-year-old female by myself in the dojo with an adult male. Anyway, there were other issues there too, but I've thought about that quite a bit because in my late teens, early 20s, I ended up in a abusive relationship, which is kind of backwards. You think years and years of karate training, you wouldn't end up with someone who was manipulative and abusive and who threatened physical abuse. But sometimes I wonder if that culture of coming up in that karate culture actually numbed me a little bit to that level of manipulation and verbal abuse.
Right. And the boundaries got weak.
Yeah, like made me more resilient to it, to like in a weird roundabout way, to where I tolerated it more. Whereas I shouldn't have. Like, I should have had stronger boundaries and been like, no, this is not okay. You can't threaten me with physical violence. Like, I knew it wasn't okay, but for some reason in my mind, it wasn't not okay until I got actually struck by the person, by the man.
By the boy.
Sure. But it should have stopped at the threat of it. Like, that should have been the end of it. And just for whatever reason, I can't say that for sure, but I've thought about that quite a bit. Like, was that a contributing factor to me for some reason thinking that it was okay because we were already dealing with...
You already had, yeah.
I don't want to use the word abuse as far as the dojo goes, because I don't think it was that. I just think that there was like...
The missile of boundaries is what it was, right?
Yeah.
Whatever boundaries you've naturally felt just kind of washed away. And in the name of teaching, in the name of getting better, and in the name of improving, that's what it was. And I feel like I could see that. I could see where that would lead to being more accepting. Yeah. And being like, internalizing that, like, oh, maybe you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, or even
did I piss that guy off? But, you know, what did I do?
Right.
We're such.
And I think simultaneously thinking, well, they have good intentions. Like, they're doing the wrong thing with good intentions. So because I know that their intentions are good, it's probably fine. And it's not. It's not fine.
So in a roundabout way, do you think old karate culture created a easy avenue for boundaries to be crossed by teachers? And
in the experience that I had, I don't know how it was in other parts of the world or whatever, but what I experienced with the guys and I've heard about some of their relationships with their Japanese instructor, and it wasn't great. I don't know if it just stemmed from him, if it was a at-large thing, but that's just been I
hate to say it, but that kind of boundary crossing, I would say, is more common than we'd really want to ever say, especially for that time. I think it's better nowadays. I think early 2000s and forward, it's a lot more professional, a lot more respectful. I think pre-2000s, it was very common.
Well, I will say, though, kind of backtracking a little bit, the Karate Women podcast we did with the female karateka, man, they actually they're from totally different parts of the U.S., and they shared some stories that were way worse than anything I ever dealt with. And a lot of it was quite a while ago. It was in the 80s. Right. And I think it was 80s and 90s that some of them dealt with some pretty bad stuff.
I get it.
Yeah.
I can see it happening because I just saw the stories I've heard throughout the years, you know, so.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean all teachers were that way or all dojos that way, but it was more common than not.
And like, you know, this is not to overly politicize anything or like whatever. It's a matter of like, if we can kind of like summarize this episode, there are sensei who have bad intentions and who are maybe using their position to get what they want. Right. And there are students with bad intentions who are coming in and pretending to be submissive or pretending to be whatever it is they're doing, who are also, wreaking havoc. So this is not a like one-sided thing. Like it happens from both sides. Now I'm not sure, how common one versus the other. When you have women come forward and say something, sometimes it is like, are you out to ruin this person? Did they jilt you and now you're angry? Like it gets yucky because feelings get hurt. No. So
we're not passing judgment on anybody or any of the stories we were discussing this past. Well,
oh God, there was another one that just popped in my head.
What's that?
Of a female. We went to a seminar with another internationally known instructor. And we found out later that a female was like flashing her tits at him while we were there. And he was like, get away from me. And like was trying to make some distance. You don't remember this? I'll have to tell you after the podcast. But this stuff happens all the time. And he was the instructor and she was the student.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I mean, it's just.
Oh, my God.
It's because we have people. It's because there's humans. Okay. This is why this happens.
Yeah.
Is, everybody, it probably doesn't even matter that it's karate related, but it's just,
right.
It's the experience that we have. There's so many like structures and levels and like, you know, different ranks, and
right.
There's such a militaristic, I guess, maybe structure to karate and how we view things that I feel like it overly complicates a lot of this. Maybe it's less so now, but oh God, probably shouldn't continue this episode because more and more of these are going to pop in my head.
Yeah.
I think that.
But it just, moving forward though, like those stories just justify being extremely careful, being extremely like very particular about being in the dojo. Like, so I don't like being in the dojo by myself if a female student comes in.
Right.
It bothers me. It bothers me to no extent, to no ends, because it's like, I don't want anything to ever happen or be misunderstood.
And you mean as far as like a minor or an adult or both?
Well, the adult, I don't have a problem as much.
Right.
Because I have a good feel for them. Like, I don't think they're going to be issues. But like a minor, perception is reality to some people. And I don't want that to ever have an issue or connect to our dojo. So like I'm very particular.
It's so much more complicated with a child too. Yeah.
So, I could be at the dojo. I don't open the doors till 15 before the class. And in general, I don't.
Yeah.
If the female comes in, I will normally go out to the front porch.
Right.
And I'll leave them in the dojo, and I will stay on the front porch until somebody else comes.
So for one thing, someone can see you.
Yeah, exactly. And that sounds really like overboard, but
it's good like hygiene habits to have, basically, like to make sure that you're
to make sure that you're never in a compromised position because of perception.
Right.
Right. You always are in this position where you're like, hey, I was outside. She was inside. There was none of this. To be on the up and up, it's not even a judgment of that person. It's any female.
Yes.
Any minor. Boys, it's a little different. I'm okay with it a little bit.
Right.
Because I don't see it the same way.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but like, with young girls, it's usually that way. But in general, the reason why I don't open the doors before 15 minutes before class is because there'll be enough kids waiting to come in that it's a group of kids.
Yeah, and I was about to say, if you have a smaller dojo, this may be more of a problem. Because if you only have a couple of students per class, and you don't have as many there, or as many witnesses, or whatever else, or you're commonly like the only instructor with the only student, please, 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 if you can, make sure their parents are there. Like, tell them they can't leave. Or have another adult in the building so that, everything is safe. But, if you're actually trying to be a perpetrator, then you're not going to take my advice because you're going to try to manipulate things.
Yeah, you're a weirdo.
Yeah, it's disgusting. You deserve prison time or castration, which is the new law in Florida. Not castration. Death penalty is actually the law in Florida now. Right. So come to Florida and see how that goes for you.
Florida plays a different game.
I'm about it.
Yes, sir. I am. I agree.
Ruin a child's life.
Yeah.
Yeah, good boundaries.
Yeah, establish them, respect them, but always be on your guard. As a teacher and a dojo head, always be on your guard. Always be, aware of the situation. Read people a little bit, and trust your gut. If your gut says that something doesn't feel right, then make sure you're in a position where no perception becomes reality.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and you probably shouldn't date your students.
That's just... Come on.
Don't do that.
Come on.
If you can help it. I mean, unless you just really love them. You really shouldn't. Anyway.
Well, I don't even say that because most of the perpetrators, they really love their victims.
Oh, no, they don't. No, they don't.
Oh, no, they don't say that.
That's not what that is.
That's what they say, though.
That's
what they say. That's what they claim.
Straight up abuse.
Yeah. All right.
So, what you working on?
What you working on?
I'm going to answer in a second. It's your turn.
That means that translating Lauren's answer. Nothing.
Whatever. What you working on?
Just trying to be more fluid in my technique. Trying to not engage muscle groups that don't matter. Try to time the breathing better, in combos and whatnot. And just getting it, unfortunately, repping things out so much that it just becomes second nature.
Okay.
That's where it's going.
Yeah.
With good form, good technique. So,
gotcha.
What you working on?
I was given the correction about my breath does not match my technique, at least not the impact point. So like I'm trying to think through not being so robotic on technique, because I've spent so much time working on like good form that I'm trying to not what?
Go ahead.
What?
No, go ahead.
Are you doing the same thing?
I think you're just taking my answers.
Oh, no, I'm not.
You're taking my answer and she's explaining it.
No.
That's what you're doing.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Dude. Whenever I sent my video in last week, that's what I was thinking is like, do I look robotic in the way that I move? Because I've gotten that correction many times. I placed my technique too much. So I'm trying to like smooth it out. So I went a little bit faster in the video that I sent for feedback. But then I was told like, hey, your breath is not matching the impact point of the technique. So that's going to be kind of the next thing that I'm working on. So like trying to speed up a little bit and then match the breath to the technique. So
I just keep on going back to this, like, your intention deserves all of your attention. Like what you intend to do should be where your attention, your thought process is, right? Not the technique, but if I'm punching someone, my attention should be on the fact that I'm trying to punch somebody, not how good my technique looks.
Yeah, I get that. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I'm trying to navigate through it, because I don't know how else to do it. I am very much like concerned with my technique so much that it's all I think about as I'm doing it, instead of just thinking about what am I trying to do.
Yeah. I'm usually trying to think about what I'm working on at that time.
Right.
I will say though, I had the HTKI USA Kangeko online thingy was a couple weeks ago, and so I watched Amelia Sent, I think that's her last name, watched her video, and I like the combo that she did, but apparently it's a common Nishiyama thingy or something like that. It's a common technique. Or
no, I don't think. Let's clarify that a little bit.
What?
Steve's been around and been teaching for 50 years, but trained for I don't know how many years.
Right.
He probably have seen all, you know what I mean, like all variations of it. So for him to be like, oh yeah, I've done that with da-da-da.
Right.
It's not a common combo. I think it's just, he's seen it before.
Well, all I was going to say was it was kind of my first real stint back into training. So I was able to train it at home this week and then video it. And I was pleasantly surprised coming back from maternity leave and then also some time off before that. Things were pretty decently coordinated, which is surprising to be honest with you, because that was the whole issue halfway through my pregnancy is like, I couldn't even keep my hips and shoulders moving at the same time. It was like completely separated, like, cause I didn't have the abdominal contraction to make it work. So I was pleasantly surprised with it, you know, things looking okay. Sometimes taking a break is a good thing, but
yeah,
I was just surprised that it looked as okay as it did. So.
Yeah.
Okay, well, a happy very late Valentine's Day, because this is going to be published after the fact, and don't diddle your students or teachers.
Yeah, don't do that.
I probably shouldn't have said that. Okay, bye!
Bye!